Should realtors represent both the buyer and the seller on the same transaction? That's a question that's up for debate. Some states, it is perfectly legal. An agent can legally be the agent for the seller and the buyer. I personally don't believe in doing that. I am primarily a listing agent, and when I go on my listing appointments, I tell my sellers, I'm your designated agent. Our office practices designated agency. And so what that means for my seller is that I'm looking out for them and their best interest at all times. So part of my looking out for them and their best interest and my effort to get the home sold, I will show the home to potential buyers who are qualified and interested in that house. So if a buyer calls me on one of my listings, I will definitely go out and show that buyer that house. But if that buyer decides that they want to put an offer in, I'm not going to represent them in that transaction, because I feel like that goes against what I have already told my seller, that I'm looking out for their best interest. I can't look out for a buyer's best interest and the seller's best interest at the same time, because their goals are two different things. So my personal decision on that is that I will refer that buyer to another agent in my office to write that contract for them. They do have the option to be unrepresented, but I'm not comfortable with that. I would just prefer to let another agent in the office write that offer for them. That way they have their own representation, and it lessens my liability as an agent. We do have a lot of agents here in this area that what they will do is default to what's called a facilitator status. And what that means is they don't really represent the seller, they don't really represent the buyer, they're just kind of a go-between. You tell me what you want to do, I'll tell the other party, they tell me what they want to do, and I'm writing up the paperwork. Well, I feel like as a realtor, our job is to educate and help our buyers or sellers make good decisions. And if you're not offering advice to that buyer or seller, how are you really helping them? So while it may be legal to default to facilitator, is it really in the best interest of the client? Is it in your best interest to use the listing agent to write your offer? Probably not, because that listing agent is looking out for the interest of the seller. So it's kind of like if you're getting a divorce, would you want to use the same attorney as your spouse? Probably not. You want somebody who's looking out for you and your best interest in the transactions. Let me know what your thoughts are. Would you want your own agent when you're buying a house, or would you feel comfortable using the listing agent? Send me a DM or leave a comment below. Let me know what you think.